Hello, y'all. Welcome to the Quicker Commish Fantasy Hour with friends and fellas. Um, I'm your host, the Quicker Commish. There we go. So here we're going to talk about fantasy football, the key injuries that happened, kind of recap the games, what took place, who blew up, who didn't blow up, who was a major disappointment, who got banged up. So give you pointers on maybe guys to look at for replacements. If you have any comments or questions, please drop them in the section there and give a thumbs up. If you like what we do, we'll be here every Monday, 5 o'clock Central Time. We're a little late today, it being our first show. Not quite ideal to start and after the season's already started, but we take the breaks when we get them. So I'm going to bring on my friend here that's going to help me out and talk about these games, break down these games for you. The real VP.
What's up, buddy?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just it's funny. The football game just kicked off right now. Little Monday night action. Saw a little fight happen there before the game even started, which was kind of crazy to see.
That's becoming more popular nowadays. That kind of happened with the San Francisco game I saw as well.
Yeah, it kind of just gets all the bugs out, right? Like gets your jitters out. You swing a few punches and you're just ready to go play some football.
Yeah, you can tell these guys are really antsy to go out there and hit somebody.
Heck yeah.
So how did you do fantasy-wise with your football teams?
Oh man, I don't even know if I want to talk about it. It was pretty bad. I know
This
in
is
one
what we're
league,
here for.
I know in one league my bench is just full of O's and IRs.
Ooh,
I got Justin Jefferson, IR. I'm trying to pull up my team here. It's bad, man.
Yeah, I thought you were running a MASH unit over there when I saw your bench because it's just nothing but like guys on injured reserve or just out or I was just like, Jesus Christ, he's got a hospital going on over there.
So J.K. Dobbins to start the season, goes on IR, and then I've got Justin Jefferson, with my first round pick, he's on IR. Who knows how long that's going to be? And then in my other league, it was even worse. So I went from 3-2 in both leagues to 3-3 in both leagues that I played with you in. So
yeah,
it's time to rebound a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, and you just pulled off a trade not too far back too, as getting some players. So
that actually didn't work out too bad. I got Derrick Henry and Drake London for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and they've both done all right so far in the last couple of weeks. So I'm actually okay with that.
St. Brown's still blowing up. He's still doing his thing, but you got two good quality players in his place. So
yeah, so I went 0 RB in the draft. So I'm kind of light at RB anyway. So to add a little Derrick Henry was kind of nice to just add a little bit of depth there at the running back position with J.K. Dobbins going down. So it worked out all right. So I was 0 for 2 this weekend. How about you? How'd you end up?
I did 2 for 2 this weekend. Still undefeated and I broke even. So still undefeated in the Clubhouse Network Fantasy League that we have. That's a 32-man league though, so that's drafting there. We're drafting like bottom of the barrel guys towards
and you're
the end.
6-0? So,
yeah, I'm 6-0.
Well, hell yeah, buddy.
Yeah. We're only starting one guy in each position, but still, even then, you only get the one defense. So there's going to be a few times where your defense is going against some of your offensive players. So that can be a little tricky.
Yeah, for sure. So you start only one player at each position. How many bench spots do you have, or what kind of roster are you looking at?
I think it's only like 4 bench spots. It's like only 4 or 5. Okay. It's really not that deep, just because with 32 people,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, you can't get too deep anyway.
correct. Yeah. So it is what it is. So first time doing something like that with that many people. I thought 16-man leagues were crazy, but this one's
That's pretty
this
wild.
was it is. I don't know if we're going to do the same concept next year, but if we do, you know, I think I'm off to a good start, and be
Yeah,
hard to
if you
kind
can
of
start
repeat that
6-0
start.
in any format, you're doing all right, bud. You'll be all right.
Yeah. So in another league, one of the other leagues we're in, I'm 4-1. I'm going to be 5-1, and then I'm 3-3 in another league. So and then I think 2-4 in another one. So
So that's why they
so
call you Crooked Commish.
there's a lot of reasons why they call me Crooked Commish. None of them are good reasons, but reasons nonetheless.
All
So
right. Well, I always got your back as the VP, buddy.
the real VP at that. I
The
know there's
real
a lot of
VP.
yes, there's a lot of other guys in our leagues that want your spot. So but you hold it down.
Come and get it, boys.
All right, let's get into these games, man. Let's talk about some football here. First game that I saw that I want to talk about was the Thursday night game. Might as well start there since it was the first game that everybody saw this week. Um, the main guys that blew up in that game was Patrick Mahomes had 306 yards, a touchdown, one interception, and 31 rushing yards. And then his favorite target, of course, Kelsey had a great game, 9 catches for 124 yards, no touchdowns there. Pacheco,
So
decent,
you're
six.
saying Taylor Swift didn't get to celebrate a touchdown this week?
No, unfortunately, she did not. She would
All
have
right.
to find new ways to celebrate.
Sorry to bring that up. I'm over it.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I can tell you're not a Swiftie.
Well, depends on the definition of the term, I guess. Go ahead.
Yeah. Um, Other guys that kind of did decent was Rice, had 4 catches for 72 yards. Kadarius Toney had 3 catches, but couldn't even muster up 10 yards on that, but did have a touchdown. So, there was at least that. And then other than that, there's just all the disappointment seemed to come from Denver's side with Wilson only having 95 passing yards, 39 yards rushing, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, and was sacked 4 times. So
That
just a
seems
rough
to be
day.
kind of the lay of the land there for Denver this year.
Yeah, and then not to mention, you hear Jerry Jeudy getting all pissed off at Stephen Smith for calling him a jag, and then he goes and proves him right. With
Right.
3 catches for 14 yards. I mean,
Yep. Did exactly that. I thought that was hilarious.
yeah. So the only one that did anything worth the damn or somewhat productive day was Sutton, 4 catches, 46 yards, and the touchdown. So, I mean, he at least got you some decent points, especially if you're playing in a PPR league, which
Yeah, I mean,
I'm playing in nothing but PPR leagues. So
same. I base most of my stuff off of PPR because every league that I'm in is a PPR league. But Cortland Sutton has 6 targets for 4 catches. That was the highest target mark in that game for the Broncos altogether. So still looking pretty abysmal there for them.
Yeah, new hood coach, new system, and kind of the same results record-wise. Russell seems to be playing at least the first few games better than he did last year. Didn't seem as lost, but the results just are the same. They're still just not getting any wins, really.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that, if anything comes to fruition here in the next few weeks of NFL football. See if they decide they're going to be contenders at any time.
Yeah. No, I agree. If not, then I see Peyton making a lot more changes next season. So,
yeah, I could see that for sure.
What game did you check out or caught your interest?
Well, I've kind of got a list of a few of them here. I was just going to start kind of from the beginning of the day and kind of move forward that way. Going to start with Washington and Atlanta. Washington comes out with the win, 24-16. Sam Howell actually is looking okay. You know, he's making some good reads and looking like he's kind of coming into his own. He was 14 for 23, 151 yards, which, you know, doesn't say a whole lot, but it seems like, you know, he was kind of spreading the ball around a little bit. 11 targets, 6 catches for Terry McLaurin. I saw Terry McLaurin, he dropped a few easy catches. It seems like he was out of bounds on most of them.
So he could have had a bigger fantasy day if he could have stayed in bounds or, you know, complete.
Just complete those catches. You know, you get target 11 times, you know, to catch 6 of them is okay. But, you know, so he pulled in 81 yards. You got no touchdowns. Curtis Samuel, here's a prime example. 4 targets, 4 catches, 42 yards and a touchdown. So he had a decent day there to kind of keep them in it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Sam Howell throwing 3 touchdowns. It's like one week he's 3 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. This week he's 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and kind of that up and down type of play I see.
Yeah, it's definitely a roller coaster ride with him.
So as far as running the ball, Brian Robinson, 10 carries, 31 yards. He's averaging 3.1 average yards per carry. And then you got Chris Rodriguez. I don't even know who that is, if I'm going to be honest. Huh? Exactly.
Yeah, who? Huh? What?
So 4 carries, 23 yards. Antonio Gibson, 3 carries, 15 yards. That's about it. You know, at least Antonio Gibson there, he's averaging 5 carries or 5 yards per carry, which isn't horrible.
Yeah, no. I saw he caught a touchdown pass as well. So it seems around like the goal line area, they kind of tend to like him a bit more.
Yeah, for sure. So actually all 3 of those touchdowns, we got Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, and Curtis Samuel all catching a touchdown from Sam Howell. So that's kind of just what led to that 24 points there.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see on the Falcons side of the ball, Desmond Ridder, or as I call him, Desmond Midder. He's he's kind of mid.
He's very
right?
mid.
He's very mid. 28 for 47, just over half of his attempts were completed. 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. You know, that's a lot of yards, but still, he's keeping that Midder name for me for sure.
The thing with his picks too is a lot of them come in key times. Like I know one of them was an end zone pick, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, that's the worst place you want to throw a pick is in the end zone.
Oh, horrible! It sucks.
So if nothing else, you're hoping to just at least get 3. So, but
Drake London, 12 targets, 9 receptions, 125 yards, which is cool. Like I said, I just took him on that trade, so that was nice for me.
Yes.
And how about Kyle Pitts? They're actually kind of using him a little bit when they need to. I've been waiting for that moment.
Is this back-to-back weeks of Kyle Pitts sightings?
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing special, but he got in the end zone this week. You know, 4 catches, 43 yards on 6 targets and 1 touchdown. Like, I think they need to just use the crap out of Pitts, and they just don't. You know, they really just don't use him to his full potential.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is a little bit of a mystery as far as they just seem to always want to use him as a decoy for whatever reason and whatnot. But, you know, it just seems like a waste to do that. But hopefully they're kind of turning the corner and he kind of gets fed the ball a bit more. But being with Ridder, a quarterback like Ridder,
Midder.
It looks like, Midder. There you go. My bad. Midder. He's going to throw the ball to the other team just as often as he's going to throw it to you, though.
Yeah. You could be a receiver for him on any side of the ball, I suppose. So Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier split carries, 13 for 13. So they're, committee. That's just the definition of it right there. They're kind of working towards that committee with Algier now. And he actually gets the chunk of the yards there, 51 versus 37. So I don't know what kind of – I don't know. Is Tyler Algier rostered in most leagues right now?
I don't think so. That's a good question. I would say if I had to guesstimate, I would say that at least in 50% of the leagues, he's probably rostered. There's at
Yeah,
least
probably
half of
50
them.
or more.
Yeah,
So
that
I don't
that I
know.
wouldn't think too much more, but he's definitely cutting into the production value of Bijan as far as cutting. Even if Bijan could get 5 more of those carries, who knows if he could turn that into a touchdown? Because he does remind me a lot of how Saquon was his rookie year, where he may have a few series where can't get anything, doesn't get no yards, and then all of a sudden, boom, he breaks it off for a 60-yard run for a touchdown.
Yeah. So that didn't happen this week. So we got Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith, our touchdown scorers here, but it looks like he was kind of spreading the ball around. We got Kyle Pitts, Bijan, Mac Hollins, Jonnu Smith, all with 3 or more catches. So they're
Okay.
kind of spreading the ball around there a little bit. So we'll see what comes of that as well.
Yeah, at least the one thing with that guy is what was his name again?
Desmond Mitter.
Mitter, yeah, Mitter. At least with Mitter, he doesn't just focus on one guy. He does try to share the love, but like I say, you can't share it with the other team either. So
No, but I still say more Kyle Pitts, baby. Bring me some more Pitts.
I agree with that. I'm good with that, as long as I don't have to play him.
All right,
The
what you
next
got
game,
next?
I was checking out was the Baltimore-Tennessee game. That was the early game. If you were up at 6 in the morning over in my area to check that out.
I wasn't.
Yeah, I know. I text you and you're like, I'm just rolling out of bed. It's the end of the game, pretty much.
Yep.
But I don't blame you. But yeah, this one was played over in London. Bit of a boring game for the first half of it. Wasn't too much scoring going on. Lamar Jackson had a decent game, 223 yards, 62 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Edwards and Hill were the 2 top rushers for Baltimore. 41 yards for Edwards with 1 catch for 12 yards. Hill had 35 yards, 3 catches, no yards on those catches. So just right around. They must have been like, Lamar's getting sacked here, take the ball.
Yeah, I've noticed too between Edwards and Hill, it's like one week it's all Hill, the next week it's all Edwards. It seems like they're just flip-flopping every week there with those two.
Yeah, and as a fantasy owner, it drives you crazy trying to guess which week they're going to hit, which week they're not going to hit. And
there's nothing worse.
Yeah, no, I mean, nothing will give you gray hairs faster than trying to stress over which fucking guy to start.
Well, and we're both getting to the age where that's important right now. Those gray hairs are coming out.
Yeah, I don't need much help with that. So, on the receiving aspect, Andrews was their top guy there with 4 catches and 69 yards. Zay Flowers, the rookie, had a good game, 6 catches, 50 yards, and the touchdown. So Aguilar had a couple catches for 40 yards, and so did Beckham, 2 catches for 34 yards. I'm not sure if he's earning that big contract that he got in the offseason. Good for him for getting it, but I think the Ravens may be having a little bit of buyer's remorse there.
I could see that for sure.
On Tennessee side, we had Tannehill Hill, 76 yards, a touchdown, sacked twice. He ended up getting hurt and had to come out. Malik Willis stepped in his place, 74 yards, 17 yards rushing, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Derrick Henry had a good game for them, 97 yards, touchdowns, 2 catches for 16 yards. Tajay Spears, who had a decent game last week, followed it up with just a meh game. He's the backup. 15 yards, 1 catch, 1 big catch for 48 yards. And then other than that, that's about it.
I will
receivers.
say for as far as Tajay Spears goes, he might be a good waiver wire kind of look up. I think if you've got Derrick Henry or not, he's a good stash right there. If Derrick Henry goes down, Tajay has what it takes to, I think, be a dominant force in that backfield.
Oh, I wouldn't thought. Yeah, if to any guys that have Henry, I would definitely recommend, if you have a bench spot, of getting Spears, just because of how physical of a runner Henry is. And he's gotten older. He's got a lot of wear and tear on those tires. it would be good to have that guy already in your back pocket if something should happen to Henry. Even
I
if he's
mean,
not a free agent, you could possibly try and trade him for the cheap if
yeah, you could
if
pick him
somebody
up
does have him.
pretty cheap. I assume you could get him pretty easy, but he's just with the ball in his hands, man. He's explosive. I think that if it ever came down to it and he got that workload, I think that he could handle it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I guess I'm not sure how durable he would be, but I think his explosiveness, he would definitely get you a lot of catches, a lot of dink and dunk catches, especially if it's going to be Malik Willis being the quarterback for a few weeks here.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how confident he is in throwing the ball down the field, or how much confidence Tennessee necessarily has on giving him the full playbook and whatnot. So, but other than that, they're nothing. The receivers for Tennessee, no one really did much of anything. I mean, Hopkins, that's the big signing they had. One catch, 20 yards, and
one
then
on 5
Westbrook.
targets.
Yeah, I mean they're trying, but it's just there's just nothing else there really to kind of help them and stuff. And it's not like Tannehill's, you know, a Pro Bowl quarterback or anything like that. So,
Sure. Yep.
So like I said, that morning game damn near put me back to sleep. So,
well, I'm glad I slept through it.
yeah, you missed nothing there, my friend. You missed nothing there at all.
I kind of figured that'd be the case anyway, so I'm good with it.
Yeah, well, unless you had somebody playing in that game going, then I could see, being up to kind of watch it because you want to see what maybe your guy does. But other than that, man.
I mean, I did have Henry, but whether I watch or not, it's not going to change what he does. So I just woke up to a nice little touchdown and
A
a
nice
few points
leader
on the
to
board.
start the
So
day.
it didn't do
Yeah.
anything for me as I lost still, but
It gave you false hope, is what it did.
yeah, little false hope never hurts, I guess.
Yeah, I guess not.
So moving on, my next game, Seattle and Cincinnati. Cincinnati comes out with a win, 17-13. Seahawks, what's up?
They're continuing the trend of start slow and finish fast.
They're
over the last 3 years.
It's kind of the same every year, but they're kind of coming into, what they were looking like in 2019, 2020, or 2021. They're looking a little bit better. Joe Burrow's kind of coming along a little bit. He's 24 for 35, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 1 pick in the game.
Okay.
Joe Mixon, 12 carries, 38 yards. Not a lot going on there as far as rushing the ball at all. Chase Brown, Joe Burrow, the only other 2 ball carriers, and they've got 40, 42, 46 yards of total rushing in the game.
Jesus.
Which isn't a lot.
No, it's nothing really to brag about.
So Jamar Chase, seems like he's back. I mean, 13 targets, only 6 receptions, but for 80 yards. Didn't find the end zone this week, but that's a good trend. As a Jamar Chase owner myself, it's been rough, man. It's been really tough watching him just not get there, So last week and this week were kind of a little bit of a rebound, which I'll take.
Yeah, last week was a little bittersweet for you since he was doing it against your team.
Well, he did it. Yeah. So he does it against the Cardinals,
The 3 touchdown game last week. Yeah.
Yeah. What's crazy there too is I think he scored me 56 points and I still lost my fantasy matchup on that one.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, that's rough.
And then I had, whose defense that I had that was like 44 points, but everybody else was just abysmal. So kind of lost out on that.
Yeah, that's a tough break.
So Tyler Boyd found the end zone, 7 receptions, 38 yards. He was 7 for 7, 38 yards and a touchdown. I don't know. Is that his first or second touchdown this year?
Could be it might be his first because I know. I mean, Cincinnati had that real slow start, where they weren't scoring anything. And then, what do you call it? Boyd is like the guy that gets lost in the shuffle between Chase and Higgins. So, like, this could very well be his first touchdown, especially, like I said, with Joe Burrow's struggles.
Yeah, I think it is. And there's another guy, Jake Bobo.
Well, I thought you were going to say Bobo Fett.
No, I don't know anything about that. That's
Okay,
not my area of expertise at all. But he gets 2 catches for 43 yards.
Okay.
2 for 2 on target.
Somebody you think worth maybe targeting and picking up, or just a guy that showed up on the stats this week?
Yeah, no, he just he showed up. I saw him catch a couple balls, and I was like, "Oh, who is this guy?" He actually looks like, he running good routes, and he belongs out there. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know who Bobo is, but that's great that they've got somebody there, I guess.
yeah.
I guess I clicked on the Seahawks there. So anyway, Jamar Chase, he's back a little bit. T. Higgins, he's a little banged up. 2 catches, 20 yards on 4 targets. Not much else really going on with that side. Seahawks, Geno Smith, about half of his passes, 27 for 41, 323 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Oof.
Was a little rough for Geno. Kenneth Walker, 19 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Average 3.26 yards per carry. So that's a decent game there for Walker. Still haven't seen much out of Charbonnet, of course. Let's see. Tyler Lockett, another guy that I own, 6 receptions, 94 yards. Didn't find the end zone. Of course, none of the receivers did.
Yeah.
In this one. DK Metcalf, 10 targets, 4 receptions, 69 yards. They're spreading it around here too. 48 for Jackson Smith and Jigba, 43 yards for Jake Bobo, 27 for Walker, 16 for Parkinson. So spreading the ball around there as well.
Okay. Metcalf fans probably don't like hearing that too much. They probably maybe want a bit more focus on him. Same thing with Tyler Lockett fans.
I mean, he was targeted 10 times, but he only brought 4 of them in. So they're trying. Geno's trying to get him the ball. He's not coming down with him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's only so much you can do. Sometimes the defense you go against is just better than you. So, man, this next game, man, I don't know. I want to talk about this next game. So
I know where we're going here.
Oh man, this next game was just
I'm gonna get my wings for this one.
Big fat fucking disappointment, man. Fucking Chicago and Minnesota, just another division loss. It's probably 10 in a row. I think it's like at least 10 in a row now, because I know we got swept, or at least 8 in a row. Straight division losses? Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like I said, I think it's at least 8 at the very least. It may be more. I got to go and check to see how long it's been since we won a division game. Hopefully it hasn't been too much longer. But Bears versus Minnesota, low scoring game. Really not much going on in this one as well. And it's not due to bad weather or anything like that. Just sloppy.
Just sloppy Cousins altogether.
Yeah. Cousins had only 181 yards, 1 touchdown, got sacked twice, lost a fumble though. Matheson, 44 yards, 4 catches, 28 yards. No touchdowns there. Key receivers for Minnesota, Hawkinson, the tight end, 6 catches, 50 yards. Osborne, 4 catches, 48 yards. And the rookie, Jordan Addison, 3 catches, 28 yards, and another touchdown. I think that's 3 straight weeks that he's caught in a touchdown.
Yeah, it is. I was kind of wondering between KJ Osborne, Jordan Addison, all the buzz is about the rookie, Jordan Addison. And, with Justin Jefferson down, you think Addison's going to just take off with it. He did pretty good, but, Osborne was kind of in that same mix too, a few more yards, but didn't find the end zone this week.
Yeah, it seemed like they were really leaning on Hawkinson. They were trying to run it more, get the run established, but once he did start throwing it, um, I think Hawkinson was Kurt's kind of security blanket. Not too many deep shots down the field with Minnesota. On Chicago's side, Fields' numbers look even worse. Fields had 58 passing yards, 46 rushing yards, one
50
interception. Got
passing yards.
yeah.
When did he actually leave the game? Was that in the late of the third?
Yeah, I think about 5 minutes in the third or so.
Okay.
He got knocked out. He just holds onto the goddamn ball way too fucking much.
I know it.
Um,
Dude, even
he
I'm
just
screaming at the TV, just throw the ball. Just get the ball out no matter where it goes. Just get it out.
he's got a fucking running back off to the flat there, sitting there. And I know he's not wide open, but he's open enough to where you can just pitch the ball to him and let him take the goddamn hits.
Right.
You know, so the frustrating. He's just so goddamn inconsistent. He had two good games here with Denver and Washington, where he looked really good. Seemed like he was turning the corner, saw the field well or decent, better, and then it just goes right back to looking lost. You know, so he gets hurt. He sprains his thumb. They said there's nothing broken, but they're doing an MRI today. He may be out a week or two. Tyler Bagent came in, or Bagent came in. I'm not sure if this is somebody necessarily want to go and pick up in the waiver wire, but he threw for 83 yards, rushed for 4 yards with the rushing touchdown. That was his first rushing touchdown. One interception, one fumble that was lost and scooped for a touchdown, and got sacked once as well. Foreman,
yeah,
65
I can't
yards.
see picking him up off the waiver wire. I mean, I think it's just going to be more of the same, you know, with kind of a offense that just is not firing on all cylinders. I can't imagine Bagnett coming out and doing anything worth a fantasy spot, you know, on your roster.
Yeah, unless you're in one of those two QB leagues, then you kind of have to do it. Or if you're in a 32-man league like me, maybe that's the only time you would do that. But other than that, yeah, I don't really see much value in getting him as well.
So I had Dak Prescott and Anthony Richardson. So Richardson, another IR spot on my team. I dropped Dak because I'm just sick of watching him, and I thought, you know, I'll pick up Justin Fields, and we'll, you know, he's had a couple good games here the last few weeks, and of course, when I pick him up and put him on my roster, it's just almost a damn goose egg.
Yeah,
so I was real excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, he did the same for me in our other league and stuff. He was one of the guys that I drafted in that league that you picked up, and I luckily I had picked up Tua just in case this happened with Fields, because I had a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach that this is certainly possible. So luckily I didn't have to scramble to pick him back up after he kind of blew up after I dropped him. But like I said, he may be missing a few weeks now. So depending on how bad, if there's any ligament damage done to his throwing hand.
So do you think that's a big downgrade for DJ Moore?
Yeah, probably. Just because this kid coming in is an undrafted rookie, you know, and I mean, it's so unrealistic to think we can have a Brock Purdy moment here. You know,
yeah,
Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant, and now we're gonna up that by getting the guy that was undrafted from like Shepherd University. You know, it's like, and he's gonna be the savior. I mean, and if that, I hope it's true, and if it does come true, I mean, shit, there's your next fucking Hollywood story right there. You know, but
well, I hope it comes true for you, buddy.
Yeah, it would be a very pleasant surprise if he ends up lighting it up. But the only thing with DJ, with this guy being the quarterback, if he's ended up being the quarterback for a while, is he may not get very many catches, but he may get a lot of dink and dunk yards, because it seemed like when he came in, a lot of his reads were quick, hot reads. out getting the ball out fast. So if that's going to be the style, maybe DJ's catching, gets 8 catches for 50 yards or 8 catches for 80 yards on a good game, but I don't know if I see any more 230-yard games in his future.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, he didn't do really much in this game. He only had 5 catches for 51 yards. Mooney 2 catches, 48 yards. Komet 2 catches, 9 yards, couldn't even get to 10 yards. Tyler Scott, another rookie, 2 catches, 12 yards. So there's just really not much to do on the offensive side. Whether it's the player or the scheme. It's kind of hard to tell, but neither one of them is working well.
Well, we can move on from that one, buddy. I can tell you're starting to sweat. Your voice is getting
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
All right, we'll move on. Indianapolis. Right. So we got the Colts and the Jags. Jags win this one by 17, 37-20. Let's start with the Colts. Gardner Minshew, in for Richardson. It's Minshew mania, I guess you could call it. Throwing the ball 55 times. Just airing it out. 55. He completes 33 of them. 329 yards. I mean, if you have 55 passing attempts in a game, you better have over 300 yards, right?
Right.
But he threw 1 touchdown. He was intercepted 3 times.
Yeah, brutal.
Michael Pittman's, kind of the star of the show here. 9 for 14, 109 yards. As far as receiving, they threw a lot to their Zach Moss, Jonathan Taylor, 5 and 6 receptions. Jonathan Taylor with 46 yards just on his catches. Zach Moss for 38. And then you look at rushing, only 7 carries for Zach Moss, 21 yards. He does find the end zone. Jonathan Taylor, 8 carries for 19 yards. So just not a lot going on in offense altogether, I think. But now that we're here, Josh Downs is somebody I was going to bring up for a possible waiver wire pickup. I think since Gardner Minshew has come in here, he's looking for Josh Downs. This game he only had, he had 5 receptions, 21 yards. That's on 8 targets. He did find the end zone, so he might be touchdown dependent. But I think that if you're looking at week 7 bye weeks, there's 6 teams on bye, right? So if you need somebody to fill a spot, Josh Downs might be a good one to go look at.
Okay, I saw Alec Pierce made a few highlight catches and made one really cool catch that looked good.
Yeah, I did right in the middle of the field there.
Yeah. So
yeah, I saw that too. It was nice.
But didn't look like he did too much more after that.
So going to the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, 20 for 30, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. 181 yards. But looks like they ran the ball quite a bit. Travis Etienne finds the end zone twice, 18 carries, 55 yards. So Etienne just doing what Etienne does, right? And for all those Tank Bigsby fans out there, just keep waiting because he might get his day in the sun here if Etienne was ever to go down.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
I mean, he had 3 carries for 2 yards, but we'll just go on to receiving here because there's not much else to talk about there. There was the ETN show for the day. Christian Kirk, 6 targets, 3 receptions, 49 yards, and a touchdown. Looking pretty good. Evan Ingram. So this is the one. Remember I made a bet with your father-in-law that Evan Ingram would be a top 4 tight end this year at the end of the season. Guess where he's at right now? Today.
Number 4.
Number 4, baby. He's hanging in there. And I made sure to remind James that too. I said, hey, he's holding it up, buddy. Get ready for lunch, right? So he had 7 catches, 7 targets, 41 yards. Calvin Ridley, 4 catches, 30 yards. ETN coming in with 3 catches, also 28 yards. So altogether, pretty good day for the Jaguars. Nothing really else to talk about there. It's the Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne show there.
Okay. Did Trevor get hurt at all? I thought I saw something where he might have got a little dinged up.
I did see something about Trevor Lawrence, but in all the injury stuff I was looking at today, he didn't even pop up. So I don't know that it's anything to be alarmed about by any means.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. The next game on my list here is the Detroit and Tampa game. That one was a really good game. Detroit's looking like they're firing on all cylinders. They're looking really good. They're probably going to win this division here. They go on to, I believe, 5-1 now. So, and Golf had a great day. 353 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, got sacked 3 times. The leading rusher last week, David Montgomery, ended up getting hurt early in the game. Only had 14 yards, 1 catch for 12 yards. He has a rib injury. Nothing's broken, but it's just
the X-rays came back negative, but that's a tough one to play through. So I would expect Montgomery to miss 2 games, probably 2 games, and then I would be careful too after that. He'd probably reduce performance there for a couple weeks as well.
Yeah, having your ribs banged up there, like I said, there was nothing broken, but just they said the cartilage tearing there. So I mean, even if you're starting to feel okay, I'm good, it just takes one more good hit to that section again to where you can't even breathe right. So
yeah, being a running back in this league, you're going to take those hits.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially he's a physical runner too. So I mean, it's not like he's one of these finesse guys.
So what do you think about Craig Reynolds? For a waiver wire pickup.
Detroit's hot. Detroit's scoring. So I mean, I think he would be a good pickup, especially if Monty's going to be out for a few weeks. I don't know if he'll be as productive. I think they may use him more as a receiving threat. I can definitely see him catching a lot more balls than Monty would. But if Monty's your guy and he got hurt, that's definitely someone you should be targeting and trying to get here as a replacement.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna come down to Jahmyr Gibbs too, right? Is he gonna miss any more time? I think if you're looking at if Gibbs is out this week, I would definitely, if you need to fill a spot on your roster for bye weeks or whatever, Craig Reynolds is a good a good running back to shoot for there.
Yep, 1,000% agree. On the receiving end for Detroit, St. Brown continues to have a great season. 12 catches, 124 yards with the touchdown. Jamison Williams, last year's rookie, got his first touchdown of the year, 2 catches for 53 yards. That touchdown coming on a long bomb from
that was a hell of a catch too, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, he just went up and got it. I think that's showed some of the reasons as far as why Detroit kind of liked him and wanted to get him. Reynolds, 3 catches for 50 yards, and then the tight end Laporta. He was a game time decision, ended up playing. He gets targeted a lot. But he only had 4 catches, 36 yards, and then Raymond only had 3 catches and 23 yards.
Yeah, that 4 catches for Laporta was on 11 targets. I mean, man.
Yeah.
Between St. Brown and Laporta, man, they're just getting all the targets there.
Yeah, especially around the goal line. Golf tends to look for him around that goal line. So he's one where if you can try and trade him and get him off someone else's team, because valuable tight ends are hard to find. So, I mean, if he's one of those guys where you can you have extra receivers and maybe an extra running back you can throw to get Laporta, that's maybe something to think about, especially if you have one of these jag tight ends, like a Henry type of tight end or, Commish even type of tight end. Where if Bajent's down or Bajent's quarterback, Commish value may dip as well. So
There's another tight end. We're going to get off here a little bit, but there's another tight end that I'm kind of looking at here, Michael Mayer, for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think he's coming up, man. He's starting to get some action there in that offense. I don't know how it's going to go with Jimmy G out with a back injury, but that's something to monitor, I think.
I think they might be. They should be okay. That was one of my next games going up. He did have a really good game. Finishing just up with Tampa here. Tampa didn't really do much of anything. No scoring at all. Mayfield only 206 yards, 1 interception, got sacked once. You got White running the ball, 26 yards, 3 catches, 12 yards, not much of anything. Mayfield did get a little dinged up if he's your quarterback, or hopefully not, but if he is, he injured his non-throwing hand. It doesn't seem to be too serious, but if he is your quarterback, you may want to start looking for someone else. Receiving end, Chris Godwin, 6 catches, 77 yards, and Mike Evans, 4 catches, 49 yards.
How many more balls can Mike Evans drop? I mean, seriously, it's like every time I see Mike Evans on the field, a ball comes right to him, wide open, and he just drops it. I'm just like, how much more of this can we take?
I don't know, and that's weird because I didn't think you really had that issue in the past. You know what I mean? This must be a new thing that's kind of getting to him.
It's just this season. But man, and I may be wrong, but it seems like every time I'm looking at him, like I'm looking here, 10 targets and 4 catches. Man, what a difference maker he could really be if he could catch those balls. You know?
Yeah.
Because he's a good receiver. You know, there's no reason he shouldn't be catching those balls.
Yeah, I think he's broken 1,000 yards damn near every season he's had here. So if he wants to get there again, he's definitely going to have to catch a lot more of those. So,
amen.
Yeah, but hopefully Mayfield can get him the ball, stay healthy. But I'm not sure if Mayfield does go down. Kyler Trash would be Trash. Task. I may have pronounced it right the first time.
Call him what you will.
Yeah. He would be the guy stepping in for Mayfield if Mayfield had to miss a few games. But like I said, if you're having to reach for those guys, you're having a rough fantasy season.
Yeah, you're literally reaching in the trash there at that point.
Yeah.
But so I suppose in a 32-team league, you could do that and be all right, huh?
Yeah. That's, like I said, that's probably one of the few times where he would look appealing, where you're like, ooh, that's not bad.
Ooh, look at this Trask. All right. Anyway, moving on. San Francisco, man, taking a loss to the Browns. Brock Purdy, 12 for 27, only 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I guess he is human. He
his
can
first
lose
loss.
a game. Yep.
Yes, his first loss of a regular season game.
Yep, which is actually pretty incredible. That's pretty awesome, for him and for that team. Christian McCaffrey, only 11 carries, 43 yards. He goes out with an injury as well. It's an oblique rib injury. I haven't heard anything today as far as any tests or anything. I would imagine there is a possibility that he could be okay to play next week, as he does have an extra day to kind of rest and recover. So there's a chance he plays next week. However, I wouldn't be surprised if he misses a week. And in that case, I would say...
Is he a Monday night game? Is that why he has that extra day, I guess?
Yeah, I think he's playing Monday night. So in that case, I would think Jordan Mason will get the workload there. It'll be between Mason and Mitchell, but I think they're favoring Jordan Mason there for sure.
Yeah, I saw Mason is the one that got one of those touchdowns there.
Yep, five carries, 27 yards and a touchdown. Ray McLeod comes in. He's not just a special teams punt returner.
Ray.
So it seems. 2 rushes, 23 yards. That was kind of fun to see. That's an average of 11.5 yards per carry, which is cool.
Yeah. A lot of jet sweeps to him.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So speaking of jet sweeps, Deebo Samuel has 2 as well, 2 carries for 11 yards. And he goes out of this one as well with a shoulder injury.
Yeah, I know. I got the alert.
Yeah. So two of the stars on that team are going out. I think Ayuk and Kittle are going to kind of have to step up if, especially if McCaffrey and Debo are out for a few weeks. They're really going to have to step it up, and I think Jawan Jennings will start to see a lot more targets in that case.
Dude, Kittle is so frustrating as a fantasy owner. Last week he has 3 fucking touchdowns, blows up, has a great game. It's complete like being used in the offense, and then this week he has 1 point.
That's why I quit drafting him. For years, I always wanted Kittle, and I just got so tired of the frustration of that up and down swings all the time, So I just quit drafting him. I'd rather take a TJ Hawkinson or a Kyle Pitts or something like that,
Gotcha.
And now maybe a Sam Laporta or, somebody along those lines.
Yeah, absolutely.
So moving on to the Browns. We got PJ Walker gets a start, 18 for 34, 192 yards. Did not throw a touchdown. He had 2 interceptions. So not too great coming out of PJ Walker. What was that other league he played in? Was it the XFL or the AFL or?
Yeah, he looked much better in the XFL. He looked really good.
Yeah, he was looking really, really good there. Not so much here in the NFL this week. And this game came right down to it, and Cleveland pulled it out. Jerome Ford gets the bulk of the carries here, 17 for 84 yards. Kareem Hunt, 12 carries, 47 yards. He does find the end zone. So
welcome back,
Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So Hunt's back, baby. We'll see how that kind of shakes out between Ford and Hunt here in the coming weeks. Receiving the highest amount of receptions, Amari Cooper with 4 for 108 yards. That's on 8 targets.
Wow. All right. I mean, I guess that's the only one worth taking in the Browns receiving core is Cooper.
Yeah, maybe David Njoku.
If you're
he had
desperate
3
for
for
a tight end,
24. If you're desperate, I guess I can't say that with PJ Walker as a quarterback. I take that back.
Yeah, If that's what you have to look forward to, then yeah, it's kind of hard. But man, it's weird to see the 49ers just take a shit all over themselves. That's usually what the Browns do.
Yeah, it was a nice little change of scenery there. So now we have no more undefeated teams, as the Eagles
Correct.
lost 2. So we got a couple 5-1 teams, and yeah, the Browns didn't shit on themselves too bad. Just a little sharp maybe here and there.
Yeah.
Because they didn't look great either, but San Francisco just looked worse.
Yeah, well, the Browns defense definitely did, they were tough. They played really good. But yeah, they have just they can't move that ball really. So,
all right, what do you got?
The next game I checked out here was the New England Vegas game. That one was pretty entertaining for the most part. It was entertaining to see Bill Belichick get so goddamn frustrated on the sidelines and not be so easy for him, not have Tom just save his ass all the time.
I think he cracked a smile there in one of his rants.
Did he? Okay.
No,
I got to. Okay. I was going to say that's definitely a first. That should have been breaking news. But Mac Jones had 200 yards, 1 interception, got sacked 3 times. Ramon Stevenson was the leading rusher with 46 yards and a touchdown. Had 5 catches for 24 yards, so that's not too bad of a day. Zeke gets 34 yards and a touchdown. I think it was right around the goal line. It was one of those where it got snapped directly to him and just bulldozed his way in. He did have 1 catch that went
I missed
for
that.
46 yards.
I didn't even realize Zeke scored.
Yeah, it was one of those things where they snap it right to him, and it was right at the 2 yard line, and he just went right up the middle and just kind of said,
Okay.
I'm scoring.
All right.
He also had a chance to have another one. Like I said, he caught like a screen and took it like 40 or 50 yards to the house, but then there was a holding penalty that called it back and stuff. So they're starting to try and use him a bit more over there in New England. Receiver wise, the
Which
only
I
one
think
that
they
really
should.
didn't. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you signed the guy and you gave him a decent amount of money. I mean,
Yeah, use them where
nothing
you
else is
can.
working for you, really. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Kendrick Bourne had 10 catches for 90 or 89 yards. He was the main guy for New England. It seems like he was the only one getting the ball. Jasecki had 3 catches for 28 yards. Really not much to get excited about there. On the Raiders side, we did have Jimmy G. He played the first half. He didn't come back at a halftime. He had 162 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Then he had a backiotomy, the doctor said.
A
Um,
backiotomy.
Then Brian Hoyer stepped in. No touchdowns, but 102 yards. I think he's going to be a very serviceable replacement. So if Jimmy G is out for a while and you need a quarterback, Brian Hoyer will be decent. Not going to put up like Patty Mahomes numbers or anything like that, but
He might put up Desmond Mitter type numbers.
yes, exactly. On rushing with the Raiders, Jacobs had 77 yards, 2 catches, 16 yards. And then Meyer, the tight end that we were talking about a bit earlier, he was the leading guy over there for Oakland. 5 catches, 75 yards, no touchdowns. Jacoby Myers, though, 5 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. Uh, Devontae Adams, 2 catches, 29 yards, really not much there to brag about. He took a big shot over the middle where a ball popped up and got intercepted there. That was why Jimmy G has that interception. It wasn't necessarily threw it into bad coverage. He just
Not necessarily his fault. Yeah.
Just threw it to Adams. He took a shot going over the middle, and the ball just kind of hung in the air. So, but Meyer is definitely a tight end that I think he's out there in a lot of the leagues, most leagues, and he may be one you may want to get because even when Brian Hoyer stepped in, he was looking his way. So he may get his first touchdown here soon.
Yeah, he was getting a lot of the looks there. So I would say Mayer is a solid ad this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you need a tight end, that's definitely one to keep your eye on or go and get.
So here's one that I'm not excited about: the Arizona Cardinals. Looking just as abysmal as they have. Going up against the Rams, taking a big loss again, 9-26. Josh Dobbs, he was 21 for 41, 235 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. That was his fault. He did have 47 rushing yards for Dobbs. Keontae Ingram, 10 carries, 40 yards, averaging 4 yards per carry. So here's a guy with Amari Demercado. I was thinking about maybe picking him up last week. With James Conner out, he had 2 carries for 11 yards. It was kind of the Dobbs and Ingram show there for as far as rushing.
Gotcha.
Big receiver, tight end Trey McBride, 4 receptions, 62 yards. The rookie Michael Wilson comes up with 3 receptions for also 62 yards. Spreading the ball out a lot. Ertz, 2 catches, 22 yards. Rondale Moore, 4 catches, 37 yards. So it's a lot of that. It was actually a pretty decent game there for the first half. The Cardinals actually had a lead there for a minute, which was really fun. I really enjoyed that for about 10 minutes. And then here comes the Rams. Matthew Stafford, 15 for 24, 226, 1 touchdown. He throws no picks. Kyron Williams goes off 20 carries, 158 yards, and a score, averaging 7.9 yards per carry, which on 20 carries, that's pretty stellar. I mean, they're not going to be playing the Cardinals every week either. So
yeah, well, I'm sure they would prefer that.
yeah,
But what was interesting with Williams, though, as I had him, and I saw after halftime, he had 0 fantasy points for me. And then at the end of the game, he scored all his points. It's just like they kept him in check for that first half, and then the
and then
Rams made adjustments. Yeah, and then he was just gashing.
Exploded.
Yeah, yeah.
So receiving, Cooper Kupp's back, baby. He's back, and comes back 7 receptions, only 7 receptions, 148 yards, a touchdown. That's 7 catches on 9 targets. Of course, I played against him this week and last, and it was rough. Last week it was kind of a slow start, but this week he's, like I said, 148 yards and a score. Tutu Atwell only catches 1 ball for 30 yards. Puka Nacua, rookie, 4 catches, 26 yards, no scores.
He finally had a down game like this. Normally he's been blowing up all week, so this is his first game where he looked average.
Well, yeah, they're easing Cooper Kupp back into the offense, and I kind of expected it. Last week I played Ernie in one of our leagues, and he has both of them and played them both, and
gotcha.
they both dinged me pretty good.
Gotcha.
So that's enough of the Cardinals. What do you got next?
Well, real quick, just with your Cardinals, I have to say, as bad as you are frustrated with their play and how they look, I have to say they do look a hell of a lot better than my team. Especially, you guys got this quarterback like a week before the season started. And he looks way more efficient, or it looks like he has a better grasp of the offensive system that you guys are doing than my quarterback Fields, where this is his second year in there. So surprisingly, you guys are very competitive.
I agree, man. We've been competitive. We haven't necessarily been blown out by any means until the second half of this game. But Josh Dobbs has come in and he's done well. He's done well, and I think that he's going to continue that trend.
Yeah, I agree. So very pleasant surprise with Josh Dobbs there. So,
how much time we got left here, buddy? Are we going over?
We're going a little over, but I think we'll be okay. We only have like a few more games here to go over, and then I think we'll be done for the day.
Alrighty.
So, how many? I got about 2 more games to talk about. You too?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, the next one we'll bring up here. We'll get through these ones. Miami versus Carolina. Interested in Carolina since we own their draft pick. The Bears, they do. So. Bryce Young, the rookie, 217 yards, 1 touchdown, sacked 4 times. Miami was just all over him. He just looked lost out there. Chuba Hubbard had a decent game, 88 yards with the touchdown, only 1 catch for 2 yards. Adam Thielen is the main guy in Carolina, man. He's rejuvenated his career over there. 11 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown. And that's not just this
I think
week. He's been doing that every week.
I think that's great too. I was kind of fading him in drafts because I wasn't sure how it was going to go over there, just because they've got so many weapons. But he's definitely shining over there. Yeah,
I agree. I'm surprised in how well he's doing. DJ Shark was the next leading receiver, 3 catches, 26 yards. Other than that, you really have nobody else. You had Mingo, 2 catches, 21 yards, a rookie. Like I said, nobody else did much to brag about. On Miami side, Tua had a great day. 262, 3 touchdowns. They ended up benching him towards the end of the game since they had that game pretty much handled. Mostert continues to have a strong game. Mike McDonald, not quite this time. They weren't winning that comfortably. It wasn't 17-20 type of game.
All right.
But Mostert had a really good game, as he's been having all season. 115 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 catches for 17 yards, plus a receiving touchdown. So he blew up. And then even the backup running back, Ahmed, had 23 yards with the touchdown. So he got in on the action. And then on the receiving end, it's all Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Hill 6 catches, 163 and a touchdown. Waddle 7 catches, 51 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, who else do you really need to throw the ball to when you have those guys?
You just don't. You really don't. I mean, you get both of them in the end zone, and if it's not both of them, it's going to be 2 for one of them, right? Almost any given Sunday.
Right.
So, yeah, you just don't need anything else besides that. With Mostert too, 3 catches, 17 yards, which was a little bit of a light receiving day for him, right?
Yeah. I mean, and to think he's the backup to Achan or Achan. I'm
Achane.
not sure how.
He came
Achan.
out and
Yes, that
said
guy.
Achane. Yeah.
I know. I saw him do that, but I wasn't listening.
You still don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I still.
Just take the E off.
Okay, Achan. There you
There
go.
you go.
But even with him being in the IR, and he was the one that was blowing it up as well. Like Mostert just steps right in place like nothing, and continues
what
on the
was
show.
that in that 70-point game? Both of them had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
They're
And then
just
Tyreek
making
had
it
a
happen
touchdown
in
too.
Miami,
So
man.
yeah, McDaniels is definitely like you said, the game's so easy for him. He's calling the plays on the stands with the fans. So
Hey, we got a comment here. It says, "Hey guys, do you think Trevor Lawrence is playing next week?"
yeah, you talked about that a little bit earlier with Trevor Lawrence. It doesn't seem like his injury was too serious, right?
It didn't sound like it, but let me look it up here a little bit.
I think last time I saw, they said he was day to day. So it may be one of those things where um, you may have to monitor. He probably might be a game time decision type of thing. If you needed a quarterback to replace him, I don't know if his backup. I think he's got C.J. Beathard as his backup, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's really worth picking up.
No, I mean, I'd rather go out and get Sam Howell or Joshua Dobbs or somebody like that. Maybe even Gardner Minshew.
Gotcha. Yeah. For sure.
Because he says his backup is Deshaun Watson, who's obviously out as
Also
well.
questionable.
Or at least questionable
Yeah.
for next week.
That's such a weird, yeah, and that's such a weird situation too, as far as like last week he's saying, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna play. Game time comes, no, I ain't feeling it. Doesn't feel right. I'm not playing.
Right.
So and then he doesn't play again this week, so it's just like, man, I don't know what to think with him. I drafted him in one of my leagues and he's killing me too, just because I was really hoping to get to the Deshaun Watson that we saw in Houston, not this Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, it's been pretty atrocious, but what are you gonna say? So anyway, guys, sorry we missed a lot of these comments. I just went over and looked at the comments because I'm using my computer to look at stats and everything else, and I look over, notice we got all these comments, so we'll try to be better about that in the future.
Yeah, this being our first show, we're kind of working out some kinks there, but we appreciate the love. If you guys can give a thumbs up too, and if you like what we're doing here, share with your friends and stuff, and come back next Monday. We'll definitely be doing this every week to kind of talk about the studs and duds. We really can't go over the Monday night game since it's going on right now, but last Monday night's game was Green Bay, and I think that the Raiders.
Yeah, and the Raiders came out on top of that one.
Yeah, Jordan Love.
I think it's the first
shit,
time the Raiders have beat the Packers in like 30 games or something like that, something atrocious like that.
Yeah, something crazy. So, what do you got next, bud?
Philly and the Jets. So Philly coming in 5-0, undefeated. Come
no more.
They go to New York to the 3-2 Jet, or the 2-3 Jets, and they get beat 20-14. That was actually kind of a fun game to watch as well. Jalen Hurts,
the MILF hunter, he got him.
28 completions, 28 for 45, 280 yards, 1 touchdown. I think he threw one. I think he ran one in as well. 47 rushing yards for Jalen Hurts. He was picked 3 times, man. The turnovers in that game were pretty crazy. So he gets picked off 3 times and looks to bounce back maybe next week. We got DeAndre Swift, 10 carries, 18 yards.
Oh boy.
Not a lot of running there in the 3-man committee there between Swift, Gainwell, Scott. They totaled about 50, 52 yards, something like that. AJ Brown has a great game, 7 catches, 131 yards. Does not find the end zone. Still good for fantasy relevancy. Devontae Smith as well, 5 catches, only 44 yards there. That's 5 catches on 11 targets. He missed a few balls. He was just being covered up all day. Dallas Goedert, 5 catches, 42 yards. Everything after that becomes, whatever it is. But I think, I've always faded DeAndre Swift in the last few years as far as drafting him, having him on my team. I was even offered him in a trade, and I said, I think this is about the time of year where he's going to break in half and get hurt for the rest of the season. So stayed away from that, but.
Gotcha. Not that we want that on any players. It's just the reality of the situation.
No, sure. No, but it's risky. It's just I've been on the wrong end of that so many times. I'm just like, man, I can't pull myself to do it. But he finds the end zone here again. 8 catches for 40 yards there. So Eagles not looking too bad, but besides the turnovers, that was kind of the deciding factor of this game. On the other side of the ball, Zach Wilson in for Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, by the way, did you see your buddy Aaron Rodgers was out on the field throwing balls and stuff? He's walking and it's like this miraculous story. You think the ayahuasca and all the trippy drugs he does is helping? Yeah.
No. I mean, you can't argue with the results. Look at him. The man's walking around like that. Shit.
Yep. I mean, it's got to be that, right?
Yeah. I got to check the script, though, to see when he does actually come back, what week it is. So.
In the playoffs. He already said it'll be the playoffs.
Oh, in the playoffs. Okay.
So they beat the Eagles. They might have a chance, all right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
see, yeah.
I know you love you some
I missed that part.
Rodgers.
I love the fact that he's no longer in Green Bay and I don't have to worry about his ass.
Yeah, I bet. 19 for 33 for Zach Wilson, 186 yards, no touchdowns, doesn't throw any. Breece Hall, he's coming back. He's starting to look good again. Only 12 carries, 39 yards. He does find the end zone. He's averaging 3.25 yards per carry. Nothing else really going on in that backfield. Dalvin Cook has just 3 carries for 12 yards. Zach Wilson did run the ball for 15 yards. And as far as receiving for the Jets, Garrett Wilson, 8 receptions, 90 yards. No scores. Breece Hall catches 5 balls for 54 yards to add to his total. Tyler Conklin is maybe calling himself fantasy relevant here these days. 3 catches, 24 yards. So, at the end of this one, the Jets come back and win it to take the Phillies down, or the Eagles down a notch there.
It's the Diamondbacks that are trying to take the Phillies down.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So, that's part of one of the other teams that was undefeated, but no longer undefeated. So I think that, like I said, that's all the NFL teams have lost their O. So, moving on to my last game. That I want to talk about was the Saints and Houston Texans. This one was a decent game here. We had Carr having a pretty good game, 353 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, got sacked twice. Chris Olave, 7 catches for 96 yards. You had Shaheed, 2 catches, 85 yards with the touchdown. That was on a long bomb.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill is back.
Hey, Rashid Shaheed is available in like 50% of leagues as well. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying,
Yeah.
you might
So I
want to
mean,
go there.
if he's done this, pulls up back-to-back weeks of being productive or at least getting targets, like they're using him, that might be a guy that's you go pick up for a bye week or something like that. So
Yep. Between week 7 and I think week 13, boy, the bye week buys are crazy on
yeah,
those weeks. So they're coming hard.
and then you throw that and you have injuries on top of that. So these are kind of these guys that you necessarily don't need on your team at the end of the season, but just to fill in a spot, they may come in handy.
Yeah, for sure.
Taysom Hill's another one. There are 7 catches for 49 yards. He's in the tight end spot, I think. There. Michael Thomas
Is he though?
is
Tight
back.
end, quarterback, running back. He just does it all. We know that.
Yeah, he's the utility knife for the Saints. So they kind of plug him and play wherever they see fit. So.
And it's been for many years like that. How long has Taysom Hill been doing that for the Saints?
Yeah, for a while. I think last year he was pretty quiet. I kind of forgot he was still on the team. He definitely wasn't having his name said as much, but he's making his presence felt, kind of letting us know that he's not gone.
Yep, I like it.
Yeah. Michael Thomas, like I said, had 5 catches for 45 yards, no touchdowns, but he's still hanging around, getting some sort of fantasy points out there. C.J. Stroud on the other end for Houston, the rookie, 199 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, was sacked twice. Devin Singletary for 58 yards rushing, and Damian Pierce, 34 yards rushing. Those were your leading guys there. You had Nico Collins receiving 4 catches for 80 yards. Dalton Schultz makes an appearance here, 4 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Yes. He flipped it into the crowd there. I was wondering if once he did that, if it was one of those things where Stroud would be like, "No,
give me that back."
For real. Like, what are you doing, asshole? And then Nico Brown had 2 catches for 37 yards, and then Bobby Woods only had 1 catch for 6 yards, but it was a touchdown.
And a TD, baby. I saw that.
Yeah,
too.
Just made it count. He just kind of snuck in there, a little drag across the end zone there, and he got found. So
little inconspicuous in the back of the end zone. Bobby Woods.
No, it was running front. He was running front.
Was it in the front? Yeah.
Yeah, he was crossing along there, and no one paid attention to him. So, but yeah, he's another one where if you need to plug in a guy for a week, C.J. Stroud's not looking like a rookie quarterback, and is having a pretty decent season so far.
Yeah, he seems to be pretty posed and comfortable out on the field. And he's been doing great.
Yeah.
So I got one more game here.
Yeah, go for it.
No, finish what you were saying.
I was just gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if CJ is at the end of the year is in the talkings for maybe rookie of the year, especially if he stays healthy. Okay. Houston is in the playoff mix. Not saying they're necessarily in the playoffs, but say they're, in the position to get one of those last spots.
Yeah, I could see that.
Wouldn't surprise me.
For sure.
So
I got one more game here. I'm gonna make it quick. Monday Night Football was just a fucking snooze fest. You got the Giants and the Bills. The first half of the game, I almost turned it off. I was like, "What are we doing?"
Oh, that was Sunday Night Football, right?
Sunday night. I'm sorry, yeah. Considering Monday night is right now.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that was a pretty rough game to watch. Go
ahead. So for the Giants, Tyrod Taylor, 24 for 36, 200 yards, 0 touchdowns. I wouldn't be picking him up off the waiver wire anytime soon. Saquon's back, 24 carries, 93 yards, just right back into his role there on that offense.
Okay.
Tyrod rushed 5 times for 24 yards. Matt Breida still in the mix a little bit, 4 carries for 13 yards. Darius Slayton came down with 4 catches, 69 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson, 8 catches, 62 yards. And Darren Waller, 5 catches for 43. So no touchdowns anywhere to be seen here at all. So That's all. That's all we got to say about the Giants. The Bills didn't look great either.
No,
Josh
Josh
Allen,
Allen,
man.
I think he might have messed up his shoulder. Like it seemed in parts of the game, he was really reaching for that shoulder. He landed on it a few times. So,
Yeah, he was
um,
pretty tender.
yeah, I don't think he's showing up on the injury report officially, but he's getting beat up.
Yeah, I think it's starting to catch up to him. He was 19 for 30, 169 yards. He did throw 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rushing, James Cook, 14 carries, 71 yards, averaging over 5 yards per carry. Latavius Murray, 12 carries, 45 yards. Josh Allen gets 11 yards on the ground. Stephon Diggs, 10 receptions, 100 yards, no touchdowns. Let's talk about touchdowns and the Bills. Who? Quentin Morris? Okay. Deontay Hardy? There's your 2 touchdown scorers of the game. Like, what happened to Diggs and Davis or even Knox? Then we got these
Right.
guys coming in, 1 catch for a touchdown, 1 catch for a touchdown. It's like, on 1 target. It's sneaky, man. It's just sneaky.
Yeah, I think I heard one of the announcers with one of those tight ends that caught a touchdown. I was like, oh, that's his first touchdown of his NFL career,
Yeah, it
or
was.
something like
Yeah.
that. It's just,
No, it
it's
was
just
his
like,
first
holy
target. It was his first
his
target
first
of the
target.
season.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's
1
just like
catch. Like,
Jesus.
his stats are all 100% right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if he could retire and be like, I have stats like nobody else in the NFL does.
Yep,
So
100% for everything, baby.
for real, I
So
haven't dropped a ball.
anyway, that's it for that, man. So
Well,
that
it was a
wraps
fun,
up.
fun football week. Only if our teams could win a bit more, it'd be a little bit funner.
Well, I'm kind of in the spot now where I'm not holding my breath. I'm sure you aren't either. We've got probably the 2 of the worst teams in the NFL that we're wearing jerseys for. So at this point, we'll just look again for a rebuild, right, or something.
Yeah, that's part of the issue with me is we're right in the middle of a rebuild, and now it's looking like we need to tear it down before we even get the drywall up, and we fucked up with the foundation of it. So I don't
Yep.
know. Yeah, it's looking pretty rough, but I see the team can stay good and not be at the bottom of the barrel in one of our leagues here, so I don't get kicked out. You know,
Well, I
I'll
think
be
I
happy
think
with
I'll be
that.
a little closer to that than you are at the moment after this week, anyway.
Yeah, still a long way to go, though. Long way to go. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up and call it a night. Thank you, the real VP, for coming in and helping me. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, everybody, if you like what you see or you don't like, maybe you disagree with some of our takes, leave a comment, let us know. We'll get back to you and kind of let you know if maybe you have a point or not. Um, and come back next week. We'll be doing this every Monday evening, 7 o'clock Central Time, the Crooked Commish Fantasy Hour with some good fellas, my friend here, the VP. He'll be joining me more often than not. There may be some times where he won't be able to, but I think he'll be here more often than not. Like I said, to talk some football here and kind of go
We
over the
might have
studs
an
and duds.
opportunity next week to get into a studio together too. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It may look a little different next week, but like I said, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I do want to give a shout out to Frank the Tank, for jumping on and helping us here and getting the show rolling. Thank you to T Nick, for bringing me on here and giving me this show and stuff, opportunity to kind of talk with y'all. Stuff, I really do appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that commented. We really do appreciate that as well. I can't, man, I'm not sure how to say some of these names, but thank you very much, Jeremy, for popping up and whatnot. Frank, like I said, I really do appreciate it. Anthony Stewart, thanks for hopping on. Like I said, next week, you want to hear us do this again, tune in, and we'll be here. Hopefully, we'll see you guys as well. Mitch, did you have anything you wanted to say before we leave the crowd here?
No, thanks for having me on. Thank you guys for bearing with us on our first show. We'll look to make it, all we can in the future. So thanks, Tony. Thank you, Frank, and everybody. And bye-bye. See you next week.
Yep. Peace. Be good or be good at it.